Good afternoon. Welcome back to the Connections podcast. We got a very special guest today. I'm very, very excited about this one specifically. His name's Andy. We met a couple weeks ago at another networking event, a mutual friend of ours. He was actually one of the main speakers there. And I mean, this guy's story is phenomenal. I mean, you would just never expect, right? Like at the networking events, you never expect who to meet. And I mean, here we are. Now he's on the podcast. So I'm very, very excited. And he's done great things. He actually successfully built a company from the ground up and exited, which to me, it's very, very interesting because that's exactly what I want to do, right? That's one of the things that we've always talked about is, hey, I'm building this company to sell it. And then what's next, right? 4 or 5 years, I'll be 30 years old and then we'll see what's next. But yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself. Thank you for coming, by the way, Andy. Appreciate it.
Happy to be here, brother.
It's funny. He actually lives like 30 minutes from me. So it's a small world for sure.
Yeah, man. So appreciate the invitation. Just happy to be here and be able to share a little bit of my story. At the end of the day, man, one of the things that I'm kind of focusing on and just taking away from life is sharing, stories and being more vocal about, the good things that happen to us. Because I think in my nature, sometimes you just I'm a very humble person, right? I never really understood the power of being able to inspire others. I think that goes a long way. And for me, once I've been able to start doing that and just hearing people say like, hey man, that really helped me, or I was really inspired, like it's really fulfilling as a person. So this is an amazing platform to be able to just do that, and humble to be here, bro.
Thank you. Yeah. So just out of curiosity, I know you're in real estate now, you're flipping, we're talking behind the scenes and you mentioned you have 4 projects and stuff. But we'll get to that. Let's start with like the company you built, right?
Yeah.
You said it was a furniture company.
That's right.
How did you end up picking that industry? Like, how did that even come about?
Yeah, man. I'm actually going to bring it back even a little bit before that.
Okay.
Because like walking in here, it reminded me of the old days. So I've been starting businesses since I was little, bro. Like 18 years old, I think, to little car stereo thing. I was trying to do that for other people. But ultimately, I kind of got a little more serious 2006. So I'm like 22 years old. And a few friends and I were like, hey, we're going to become real estate investors. So this is my first time, bro.
Yeah.
So what do? We got an office in La Mirada, very similar to this, right? And we set up our desks and our computers. And then we just we're like, oh shit, what do we do? Like,
what's next?
What's next? We actually have to know what to do here, So we started calling like realtors and giving them our spiel. Hey, we're investors. We're looking for things to like buy and invest. And nobody would give us the time of day, bro. I think one guy drove down from like Santa Clarita, and like he showed up. He's just like, I could tell like he was just like disappointed that we like convinced him to go. We never heard from him again, bro.
Oh man.
Yeah. But then very quickly, like we're just like, all right, we don't know what we're doing here, so we got to like pivot. A couple of the homies who actually joined us, they ended up just getting real jobs, bro. They had to go, pay bills. And then another friend of ours, like he's like, hey man, like, let's do like some kind of like print marketing business. I'm like, all right, sounds good. So it was like 3 of us. It was Mikey, Alex, and myself. And so we're like, literally our business model was, we're going to do like vistaprint.com style. We're going to find a printer. So we found one in Burbank called 4Over. It's a wholesale printer, right? So you send them stuff, they do it wholesale prices, right? And you get to charge a margin.
It's like a white label.
Yeah, exactly.
Service,
right.
Company, yeah.
And then we were going to do like graphic design services. So
white labels are huge right now too.
I guess so. But, back then, we were just like, you don't know what you don't know at the time, right? So we're just trying to like do something. And so we did it. We were getting a little business here and there, but we faced a huge problem, bro. And what was the problem? Well, the homies, the same ones who were working with us and other friends would show up, bro, because everybody lived in Downey, all right?
Yeah.
So La Mirada is like 10, 15 minutes away, whatever. They'd show up and be like, yo, guys, just kick it, right? And we're like 22 years old, bro, so you're so susceptible to being distracted, right?
Happy hour.
Yeah, whatever, bro. Like throw around the football and just do other things I can't mention because legal reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, like we had like so much distraction going on. And I remember we had this one day that we had this moment where like, dude, we're never going to do anything with our lives, bro. We keep being distracted, right? So we're like, we got to do something today. So that day we decided that we were going to go rent a U-Haul truck, go to each of our houses, load up our shit, and go to a property that I had actually in Arizona, a new build in the middle of nowhere, bro. Like a little town called Golden Valley, Arizona. It's like 20 minutes from Laughlin. It's like the type of town where there's like dirt roads, a house and then like 100 feet, another house, like that kind of house, right?
Yeah.
That kind of
like grocery store, gas station, 20, 30 minutes away.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like you want a candy bar, you got to drive 20 minutes.
Yeah. There's nothing around.
No
right?
antojos, yeah?
No, can't do it. So we ended up, we got there like 3 a.m, bro. And we're just like, oh shit, we're here. Like we went to the top of the U-Haul truck. I remember we're just laying out. It was summer days. It was nice and warm. We're just looking like this guy. Like, oh my God, I can't believe we did this. So we end up loading our computers and we're like, all right, well, the distractions are literally gone. Like there's nothing here to distract us, right? So then we're like, all right, let's do this. Let's grow this print business. And we actually ended up trying to like see how do we get clients now. We had done 2 things. Like the first thing we did was remove distractions. But we also removed any like local business exposure. There was nobody around. So we're like, the only way we're going to do this is we do internet marketing. Like we have to figure out how to bring people to our website. So Alex and I started learning like how Google AdWords works, right? And we talked a little bit about AdWords off camera. So we started figuring out like, how do we get people to our website? How do we actually understand the actions they're doing, right? So I'm learning a little about Google Analytics and these platforms. So ultimately, we're just trying to grow, right? Learn and grow. But it was tough, bro. So those first few months were really tough. I remember we went to Vegas at the end of that year for New Year's. We show up, bro, and we're just like, oh, fuck, Vegas is no fun when you have no money.
Yeah.
You know? And
Yeah.
I remember driving back and just thinking like, man, this is a low point. Like I have no money. I can't even go to Vegas and have fun. You know, this is tough. But we ended up like, just keep going, right? So as we're learning internet marketing, we stumbled upon something called affiliate marketing. And we're like, oh, there's people building websites and then they're driving traffic to those websites. And then those people are converting into an action and they're getting paid a commission. We're like, that's interesting. So we ended up pivoting, bro, from our print business to trying out affiliate marketing. We went from making no money in our print business to like a few months later, we're making like $10,000 a month and then $20,000 a month.
That was in 2006, right?
This is now 2007.
2007.
Yeah.
Got it.
So this is end of 2007, early 2008 when we started having traction in the affiliate marketing. So that's kind of what led us to acquiring the skill sets that we ultimately like rode the affiliate marketing wave for a few years. And then 2011, we had to shut it down. It was just tough to keep doing what we were doing. I don't think we pivoted enough kind of thing. But we had a nice like run, bro. We were making like 20, 30K, you know, 25 years old kind of thing. It was decent, right?
Yeah, for sure.
We're pretty happy.
Yeah, before those big inflations too.
Yeah,
5,
the
6
money
years
could go a
ago.
long way.
Yeah.
It's a little different now.
Yeah. 10K is
Yeah.
You're barely making it.
It's not enough for sure.
Yeah.
So you know, but we acquired skills, right?
Of course, yeah.
Right. We doubled down, we bet on ourselves, and we acquired really important skills. I ended up getting a job as a marketer, right? A digital marketer in some agency, making $75K. It was okay. And my buddy Alex, he ended up getting hired at this furniture company, right? And they had brought him on because the guy was doing computer furniture, and he wanted to start like a home furniture line, like, you know, this stuff, like sofas, and chairs, and love seats, and all sections, and all of that, right?
Dining tables,
a little bit of that, but mainly like, you know, the stuff you sit on. And then so this is like now 2011. And I'm working at this agency. He gives me a call. He goes, "Yo, Dre," that's what he calls me. "Yo, Dre, man, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm working at this agency." He goes, "Hey, you want to come work together again?" He goes, I'm at this job at his place and I need help with the marketing side. So, you know, I'm like, yeah, sounds good. I jumped in and then from there on, we're like helping this guy grow, you know, the little idea he had, which is the home furnishings line.
Yeah.
And we're like, all right, sounds good. It's like, we're seeing the traction, bro. Like sales are going up. You know, like things are looking good. Like, wow, this is a pretty cool business model. We knew nothing about furniture. We're just there because we're marketing guys, right? So, one of the awesome things is that this guy was a complete asshole. So the owner was like the worst kind of person, bro, I've ever met in my life. Flaunts everything he has, but treats people like shit. And then like literally talks down to his own workers. Then everybody hated being there. So it was very quickly, Alex and I were starting having these conversations like, hey, bro, what if we do this for ourselves? You know, what if we take this idea and run with it?
Yeah.
So we ended up convincing 2 of the other guys who were there. One of them was a furniture guy, and the other one was like the operations guy, like a back end guy. We kind of told them like our idea. They're like, they weren't happy either. So we ended up leaving and then working on the website that would be the competitor to that, right? But we wanted to do it a little different. We wanted to do it like more customization, more of what the customer was telling us over the months that we were there.
Yeah.
So we ran with it, bro. And in 2014, we opened doors, which is we launched online, right? We put the website public. And then we already kind of knew how to market it. So we started putting all the marketing behind it, started getting sales. And that's what happened, bro.
It's interesting because that year was like the golden year of like Facebook, right? Where you were getting leads for like pennies, right? That's when really like all that stuff started going mainstream and stuff. So it's crazy that just like at the time you probably, I'm sure you didn't know, but now looking back, you're like, dude, it was just, everything just was so perfect, right? Like the timing of everything, which is a trip. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So then you built the company 2014. You exited what you said 2018? 2018. I mean, when did you decide? Because I remember when we first met, you told me that you guys built it without ever thinking that you were going to sell it. So like, when did you guys decide like, hey, we can exit from this?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So the intention the whole time was to have a good business, right? That made money. But we weren't that, right? From year 1 to year 4, we were always trying to catch up and like get to profitability.
Yeah.
But we had 2 big costs, manufacturing, logistics.
Yeah.
Okay. And making furniture, custom furniture at scale is really difficult because our business model in the first couple of years was you could take the sofa, bro, and you can make yours 2 inches bigger or 2 inches deeper. Like you could customize it to however you wanted it. But imagine what that does to manufacturing, right? Manufacturing can scale when they have the same thing, you do a lot of the same thing.
Yeah. It's the exact same thing over and over. Yeah.
But when the majority of your items or a large portion of them are custom, well, now you have to like literally hand build each one different
as they come in,
as the order comes in. Yeah. And you got to do it as soon as possible because people are waiting for the product to be delivered, 2-3 months from the day they order it. So it caused havoc, right? The factory was like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like we can't really figure this out. This ultimately led us to us pivoting to standard sizing, right? But we did keep the choose your fabric, choose your stain option because that was more manageable. But we took away like the make this thing 2 inches deeper or wider.
So essentially you kept the bones the same, and you just, like you said, like Living Spaces does that right now.
Right.
They do that heavy too. Like they customize their own couches and all that stuff. But yeah, you can't change the size. You can only change like the actual compartments. Like, do you want it to be a 2-seater, 3-seater, 4-seater? Do you want one of those, an L shape and stuff like that? But they don't change, like you said, like that's interesting. So I don't know. Maybe they took your idea,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But the reality is that it made things really expensive. So our P&L was like in the red, but we were slowly inching up. Like every year we'd be like, okay, we're less in the negative. And the only way we could float it was because we had customer deposits, right? That people would give us the money up front. And then we had the money to make the furniture and ship it and pay all our vendors. And we were pushing all payments net in 30, 60, 90, whatever terms we could get. And we're just literally floating like the capital that way until we could get to a green. So come 2017, 2018, we know that like eventually we're going to figure this out.
Yeah.
But still manufacturing logistics was really expensive. So we get this cold email, I think it was, or whatever, from Aaron Brown, VP of Strategy at Lazy Boy. And he's like, hey, we're looking to invest or acquire or partner with a young e-commerce company. And, we came across Joybird and, we want to have that conversation. So at that point, we ended up entertaining it because we knew that we should not say no. We should at least understand what options there are in front of us, because I think that's the right business decision, right? Or even if you don't necessarily want to sell your company. But we ended up flying to Monroe, Michigan, like over there where their headquarters is. And, we told them our story about how we started up, how we raised capital from our mom and dad and our brothers and uncles. They really love that. We told them about all the things that, we did for Joybird and made us special, like all the little things, all the other customer value that we added through our own unique ways that we can jump into if you want later. But they loved it, and they ended up, doing a letter of intent, and then we got the deal done.
Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's it's so inspiring, right? Because you, like you said, you don't know what can come out of it, and that now you're in real estate.
Now I'm in real estate, bro. Yeah.
Now you're real estate full time, and it's interesting that it was all marketing. You started as essentially you were a marketer, right? And then learned the furniture business as you were in the furniture business.
Yeah. Well, we had one guy who was really good at it, right?
Okay, yeah, you were the operator.
Yeah, he knew how to build anything, like furniture wise, right?
Yeah.
So you got to have your key pieces, I think. So we did have that. We had a back end specialist, we had a marketing guy, so we had all these things come together, and you need that, right? Especially like if you're trying to do big things, I mean, it's totally possible, I think, to get to a $55 million company in 4 years, by yourself, but it just makes it so much easier, bro, when you have everybody knows a role and everybody can double down on the things they're best at.
Yeah. So when you were negotiating with the company, when they did the letter of intent, and for those of you guys that don't know, letter of intent is almost like an offer for the company, like intent, like it's letter of intent, meaning like I'm going to him, hey, I'm intending to buy your company, right? Like that's essentially what it is. So it's an offer on the company. Like when did it become real? Like when you were open to the idea, I can't imagine when they offered, say the 55 million or whatever you exited for. Like, how did you even react to that? Like, did you even expect it? Because I mean, you said that you guys were in the red for 4 years.
Yep.
So when they offered that, like, what were you thinking? Like, what was going through your mind?
We did a little due diligence, right?
For sure.
Because we had to make best decisions.
Of course.
Right. So we spent a little time looking at other markets, other e-commerce companies that are digitally, native, vertically integrated like us, right? Who do everything, right?
Yeah.
Understanding the landscape. Oh, what are people going for? Oh, they're going for 1x sales, 1.25, 1.5x. Okay. Or the ones where we have bigger multiples. Maybe they've been around longer, or they have way more, profitability EBITDA wise. So we're understanding. And then we also partner with like consultants, right?
Of course.
Right. So we hired a consultant, and they're also doing their due diligence and telling us like, hey, this is kind of what you guys are worth, and this is what you should shoot for. And of course, they got paid nice. I think they got 1% or something. I don't even know exactly the terms anymore. But so I think we did our homework enough to make the best decision for ourselves.
Yeah.
And ask for the best terms that would be, I think, good for both sides. Because we also wanted them to have upside. It's not like a one transaction for one party. It's like it needs to be equal for both sides. They're doing it for the long term.
Of course.
Right? They want to buy a company that can bring a different consumer and add more to their bottom line as well. So we figured it out, and then we shot our shot, bro, and they took it.
That's so sick. And then you were telling me how, you guys were talking to have a conversation where like, hey, we should ask for more, and then you ended up setting up where they gave you literally 50% more in a span of 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah. That was the second shot we took, right?
Yeah.
Right. For sure. And they didn't want to do it. So we first tried to get $25 million more, and they didn't want to accept it. So then we told them, well, what happens if you pay us over 5 years? And that was more like, they felt like, okay, we'll meet you in the middle. That's fair terms, So we ended up just striking the deal and moving forward and closing. But there was some drama in between, right?
I'm sure, dude.
We had to negotiate. We had to have escrow holdbacks, understand how that works. We were being sued by our former employer, and they didn't want to close with that suit not being...
With the lawsuit.
Yeah, with it being open. So we had to be really strategic about how we settled without letting the other party know that we're about to be acquired. Because had they understood that they had a little leverage in us, they probably would have asked for more money. So it had to be like a number where like they were like happy they were settling, but not where they're like, why are they selling? Why after fighting us for 3 years, because we fought them because all the things they threw out were bullshit, but what, just to not give any red flags out.
Yeah, of course.
So we had to navigate that, and even just being sued, bro, is not a fun experience to go through, especially at that level, right? You can like all these things thrown out. This is our second year. In 2015 is when we got sued. But yeah, we had to do a lot of things to get it done. And ultimately, bro, to me, my biggest takeaways, bro, is being able to tell my mom and dad, like, hey, they invested $100,000, bro, of their retirement money, to tell them that, we're getting bought out and you're going to get $600,000 back, bro. That was like, to me, one of the things I always take to the grave.
In 4 years too.
in 4 years.
I can't imagine. How did you feel having that conversation with them? Like,
I was so excited. Bro. You know?
Yeah.
It's like a dream, you know?
Yeah.
I think most men grow up like, I want to retire my parents or I want to buy my house or a car or something significant, right? To me, that was it. So I'm gonna definitely take that one to the grave, bro. And I told them so many times, like, you know, they're amazing parents, always believed in me and they always supported me.
And they're here in SoCal as well?
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome, dude. Yeah. And now, okay, so you exited from the company and, you know, now you have capital. I know you said you took about a year and a half off. I would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, I would have taken a year off for sure. At least a year, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, you have some capital and now, you know, within that year and a half, like now you're in real estate. Like what was it about real estate that really started attracting you? Like why real estate?
Yeah. So
out of all the things you can do, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I had a little bit of understanding of like real estate. My mom had done some investments, right? And then we bought our first rental in 2017. So I knew that that's a world that I've always wanted to jump into. I just didn't know at what level and how deep I wanted to get. But I actually had 3 things that I wanted to do after I was done my break. It was either going to be, I'm going to start my own marketing agency because I like marketing. I was going to buy a business and use my knowledge to scale it up, right? And just make it cash flow more. Or I was going to become a full-time real estate investor. Mm-hmm. So out of the 3, I ended up going with the third one just because it spoke to me the most. And I just jumped in, bro. I just jumped in and I knew like, okay, I'm going to probably get my butt handed to me here and make a lot of mistakes, but I don't really get scared making mistakes. You know, I learn good. I learn best when I'm doing it on my own and having like the first hand experience at whatever it is. Yeah. So about my first flip, rehabbed it.
What year was that?
It's 2022.
2022. Nice.
Wholesaler. It was a thin deal. Of course, I underestimated the rehab cost.
Did you get a hard money or did you buy it cash?
I bought it cash.
Yeah, of course. Do you still do that now?
Now I leverage hard money.
Of course.
And other people's money.
Nice. Okay, so having, I don't know if you know anything about this, but like, you know, having the access to the type of capital that you got, would you be able to get like say a line of credit? Right? I've seen people do that. Get like some type of line of credit and then use that line of credit, right? So they're paying the interest, but they're not paying like points. They're not doing anything. Mm-hmm. Like a bank will loan you literally what you have in the bank. They'll match it.
Right.
Easy.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? As long as the funds are seasoned and you're paying 3-4% instead of origination points.
Yeah, it totally.
High interest.
You know, we had some investments long term, right? And from those equities, you could pull off what's called a margin loan, right?
Yeah.
So your whatever the variable interest rate is, what you got to pay. All great when it's low, but when it gets higher, you know, you got to just account for those costs, right? Especially right now, interest rates are higher. Yeah. Still better than 10.5.
For sure.
Right.
And the origination points.
Yep.
Like some of these lenders are charging 2-3 points up front on top of the interest. Mm-hmm. It's like, dude, that's like, you're making more money than me as the one taking the risk.
Yeah.
You know,
it could pan out that way, but I think they're necessary. You know, if you want to scale, hard money, I think it's just part of the game.
100%.
You know, so you just got to do your math.
Yeah, and once you have the relationship, they'll be a little more lenient as far as like the terms and all that stuff, you know. And once they see that like you're a high level and you know you're doing X amount of flips or whatever, and you're consistent and stuff, then you know you can build those relationships. I've seen it happen, and I mean that's probably going to be my next thing, trying to build something like that, you know.
Yeah, I asked my guy like, hey man, like give me something to shoot for, bro. You know, I know I'm at 10.5% right now, but I want the lowest possible. He goes, how many flips? You go, you got to do this. All right, I'll work on that. You know?
Yeah,
I'll get there.
Yeah, it took me a couple of years, but you know, it'll happen for sure. Yeah, it's interesting because I did my first ever flip with Kiavi. I qualified, and then they changed their regulations. Actually, I did a couple, I think, with Kiavi, and then I didn't qualify no more. And I mean, I understand the law changed or their regulations changed internally, but then at the same time, it's like I had already done deals with them. I paid back the loans, like. It was good. Yeah. But what they changed is that, I'm a young guy. I'm 27, right? So my average line of credit on my credit report is not very high. I think I have some that are 7-8 years old, but the average, when you take them all, it's 3.5 years. God. And they changed it to 7 years. God. So how is someone of my age supposed to even compete with that? Yeah, that's like literally impossible, you know?
Especially because we don't grow up learning the credit card game, you know?
Yeah.
But one thing, my buddy Alex, man, he's just like a freaking mad scientist and everything he does. So very early on, he was like, Dre, you got to learn the credit card game. But you know what we ended up using it for, bro?
What?
I ended up getting lines of credit so I could gamble in Vegas.
Oh my God.
I literally would get $20,000 to $30,000 checks from like the bank, like the credit card companies, deposit in my account, take out the money, and go to Vegas.
Wow.
Because back then in my early 20s, I was really irresponsible with money.
Yeah.
Right? It was just like fun and games and didn't feel like, oh, it's not mine, whatever. No fucks given.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, I don't got to pay it back. It's free money.
Yeah, not anymore, bro.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think one thing I think is very important, especially for the youth, is to understand the credit game. Because they're going to need it when they want to do big things, later on. It just helps to have those lines, understand the mechanics of it so they can leverage it, so they can do whatever they want to do. Business, flips, doesn't matter.
I've gotten really big on credit probably like in the last 3 years. Like now I have my corporation, I have credit cards under the corp, company cards and stuff like that. I've moved away from using my personal cards. Mm-hmm. I did it at first, but now what I've learned is that it's better to use the company cards. Because then, if anything happens, it's not, it's under the company. It's a company expense, right? Yeah. So the first house I flipped was off credit cards.
Oh, nice.
I had a couple credit cards. I think it was like 30, 40 grand. I had the money. I had already saved the money for the down payment. And then, you need operating money and stuff like that and liquidation, right? So I use credit cards.
Yeah.
I use credit cards. I liquidated the credit cards and I used that money and I paid it back within a couple months. And
yeah,
it was scary.
Yep.
Because I saw everything just max out,
Check your balance.
And then my credit got shot for a couple months, especially doing the first one and stuff. But once I paid it back and I paid all those cards, like now I have a solid credit score, not a soft credit, solid credit score, So
you're like, Yavi, where are you at now?
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about them. Yeah, they're gonna call me back and be like, hey, we've seen that you're doing a lot of flips, and be like, hey, you missed out, bro. I got other relationships.
There you go.
Yeah, that's cool, dude. So yeah, when you started flipping, what were some of the biggest challenges, that you saw in flips, or biggest lessons, right, that you learned real quick?
The construction side.
Construction?
Because it was the most unknown to me, right?
Yeah.
I had no idea what it costs, a cabinet costs, or like flooring. So it's different. It's a different world now, but I underestimated, flips a lot in the beginning. I'm like, okay, I can get this done for 60 and it'll be like 120. Right?
Damn, that's 100%.
Yeah, bro. I mean, no money. That's why I lost $13,000 my first one. But
hey, someone got a beautiful home though.
Yeah, they really did. I put level 5 drywall like on a $700,000 house.
Oh my God.
They're like, damn, this is really nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, like I just wanted to learn.
Yeah.
Even if I didn't make a ton of money, and I didn't make a ton of money, I had the financial backing to be okay.
Yeah.
Right. If I had not had a little bit of money, in the bank, I probably would have maybe been more careful or more, just done more homework.
Of course.
But my nature is just like, I'm going to jump in and I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to get better. 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 So that's what I did. Because I don't want to be in the sidelines too long. And then you get this whole like paralysis analysis thing where you're just waiting, you're just thinking about it, trying to do your homework. And then 2 years pass by, you haven't done anything. Like to me, like that, that's literally, I get stressed thinking about not taking action.
Yeah. But there's a saying, it's you're planning to plan.
Yeah.
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 You're planning to plan. Like you're just aiming but never shooting,
Exactly, bro.
Yeah, the person that's shooting more will just naturally get more done because they're gonna tumble so many times, but it's just and a lot of the times that's like that comes with like the driver personality, right? Like being able to take action like that. And not everybody's like that. Some people are very smart, more analytical, but they don't take the action. And then when you have a partnership where you have, say, like a visionary action guy, and then you have an operator analytical guy, that's dangerous, bro.
Yeah.
That's dangerous.
Yep.
Yeah, you'll do some damage in whatever business you do, right?
Yep. I think that's a great setup to have like 2 people like that.
Yeah. So it's that's interesting. But yeah, talking about that, how important is it to have like the right people in play? Like I'm sure building that, like what did your company look like at its peak before you exited?
I mean, everything we did was because of the team.
Yeah.
Right. We had the vision, sure. And we had the first idea and we took the first action. But everything to get to those numbers is because of the team. And there's no other like way to say that. So at our peak, at some point we had like 300 people in the factory.
Wow.
Right. And then
you were based here out of SoCal.
Our headquarters was here, but our manufacturing plant was in Tijuana, in Mexico.
Got it.
Josh actually had worked there.
That's interesting because my uncle ran a manufacturing company in Tijuana for a long time.
There's a lot of
and
labor for manufacturing.
Yeah, like Ashley Furniture. I know they used to sell a lot of furniture to like Ashley Furniture and stuff like that. They do a lot of stuff in TJ.
Yep.
That's interesting.
That's where we open up shop. Yeah. Nice. So like there's this whole like area where there's a lot of factories set up over there. But yeah, man. And I think we had like 85 or something in the US side, including at 2018 we wanted to have our first store. So while we were talking to Lazy Boy, we're also trying to launch our Brooklyn store, which is our first Joybird store.
Brooklyn, New York?
Brooklyn, New York.
So the name of the company was Joybird. Mm-hmm. Wow. So you did that all online.
Everything was online.
No wonder you said e-commerce. That makes perfect sense. I thought you had stores and stuff.
No, we didn't have stores until the end.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Now they have like 12, 13 stores.
Yeah. With same name.
Same name, everything.
Yeah.
It's nice. Just like now you can go like LA. They have one in the Row. They have Portland. They have one.
How is that? Where you see those and you can walk in and you're like, damn, how do you feel about that? Like I built this, you know?
It feels cool, man. You know?
Yeah, you know?
It definitely feels cool. I went to the Brooklyn store. This is like a year and a half ago. And I'm not the type of guy who's gonna be like, hey, I'm the co-founder of Joybird. I'm just gonna walk in. I'm like, I'm there to show my kids, like, hey, you know, I'm telling them like, hey, you know, this is my old company. Check out in the store. I remember we go there like my wife wants to use the restroom and they're like, sorry, it's only for employees. Yeah. And in my head, I'm like, do I say something? Nah, you know?
Like, how bad do you have to go? You know?
Yeah. I'm like, are you sure? You know, like, can you make an exception? You know, they're like, no, I'm so sorry. So I remember I told somebody like after the fact, and then the word ended up getting back to like the manager, and they're like totally like embarrassed. They're like, oh my God, I didn't know.
And it wasn't their fault, you know?
Yeah. No, I'd be like, yeah, I'm the, you know,
not
the type of guy.
He's just doing his job too.
I get it. Yeah, you know? But yeah, it feels cool, man. And to see them growing, like now I think they're like at 250 to 300 million.
Wow.
So they've taken it and ran with it in the last, 4 years. I think 250, if I remember right. And it's only going to keep getting better because, the operations is getting better. Their marketing is getting better. They have TV ads now. So they're doing all the right things. And
nice.
Lazy Boy has all that, they're a public company. So they came in and they're funding all the growth, right? Because
now you're talking about fund, like hedge fund money. It's like,
it's exactly, bro.
Yeah. It's a whole different level, that's like, you're talking about billions and hundreds of millions of dollars in funding,
Yeah, they're a $1 billion company, right?
Yeah. So, it's interesting, dude. This stuff amazes me, bro. That's like, wow, it's so sick.
It's all team though, bro.
For sure.
We had to hire key people in all the right places, and they took a chance on that. Yeah. I remember our VP of marketing, his name Eric Sai.
Yeah.
I don't think he's no longer there, but he was making good money, bro, somewhere else, and he ended up taking a pay cut for us. But we told him, hey, you're going to share in equity, right? And we have this vision. And he came in, bro, he took it to another level. He was like, I had started it, with Alex, our marketing, but he came in with his experience and knowledge. He's like, all right, we got to do these channels this way. This is how I report my data. And I'm just like, whoa, you're just like, damn, there's levels to this, right? So it's all people, man. You make the right hires, and then the people who you mess up, you got to let them go quick. Because I remember we had some funky hires too, where we had brought in two people, Eric and some other guy. He came from Disney. Right. And we're like, they both look good in interview. We're like, what do we do? Let's hire both of them and straighten it out. Right? Yeah. So we're like, we'll make this guy go to B2C, right? He will be on the direct to consumer. This guy will be in the B2B side. All right. So then Eric showed us like after 2 weeks, like what his plan and his measurement strategy. And then the other guy showed us his, and we're like, wow, what a difference. So we knew clearly like this guy, he had sold us an interview, but his work did not show it.
Yeah.
So we had literally like the next day, we're like, hey, we appreciate you taking the chance, but it's not going to work out. But, we just had to fire him quick. One thing that Alex and I always understood was like, hey, we got to make sure that the right people are on the seat. And if they're not the right people, we got to get them out quick because it just bring the company down too.
Yeah. That's interesting. Wow. That's so crazy. Cause I feel like that with my partner now, Caesar. Same thing, bro. Like one of my strengths has always been like taking action. Right. But then it's like details. Mm-hmm. That's where I've always liked like details. Like I'll get shit done, and then I'll look back and there's water leaking everywhere.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of cracks everywhere.
Yeah, you're the visionary.
Yeah. And he came in and he's like, hey, this is how we run. He calls them level 10 meetings. Super interesting, bro. Maybe it'll give you some value. It's like you do marketing, sales, operations, finances, and leadership. And then everybody in the company, or at least the leaders in the company, will go through all 5 subjects and point out everything that's wrong in those departments.
Okay.
And then before the meeting's over, we come up with solutions, and we have those every week.
Nice. Okay.
And then he even, like you said, studies data. Hey, we got X amount of leads this week. Hey, what's your sales process? He asked me that. I'm like, bro, I just get on the phones. Like I'm good, right? Because I bring a lot of personality to it. But he's like, nah, bro, you got to have a sales process. Like, if you hire somebody right now, how are you going to teach them?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't know. They're just going to listen to me, you know?
Yeah.
And he came in and just redesigned, bro. And literally, we've been partnered for almost a month and a half now. And it's just been a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my cousin works with us too, and he's been getting deals, and because now we have the sales process, and you know, we got a pretty decent pipeline now, and it was good before, but now it's like a business.
Yep.
You know, and he's like, hey, the P&L, this is how much we made last month, this is how much went out. Hey, we're in the red here. Just shit. I was just like, holy fuck, like,
yep,
stuff I'd never even thought about, and it's part of it.
Like you said, man, with the right team, you can do some damage, bro. And it sounds like you find a perfect complement to your skill sets.
Yeah. And he loves like the more of the back end stuff, right? Like,
and that's great, because you probably don't.
I hate it.
Yeah.
Like, I will be on a podcast, or I will be on the phones, or I can go present or network all day. Mm-hmm. And I'd rather do that than be on the back end. Yeah. I can do the back end if I really have to, but it doesn't come natural. Right. I'll be drained by the end of the day.
Exactly, bro.
And this, I can do this all day and be fun, you know?
Yeah. Like,
I love it. But yeah, dude, I mean, such an interesting story, bro. I appreciate you coming on, and I look forward to continuing to build the relationship. You know, we're 30 minutes away.
Yeah.
You know, I'll let you know for the housewarming. I just finished remodeling my house. I should be done in about a week. And yeah, if you want to tell everybody where they can find you on social media, if they want to connect with you, send you deals.
Yeah.
If you're in SoCal, you know, this man's, I mean, he has 4 projects going on right now. So yeah, if you want to let him know.
Sure. Yeah. You guys can find me. I'm mainly active on Instagram under it's Andy Hino, ITS Andy Hino. Yeah, man, hit me up for whatever. Like, I'm an open book. Like I told you, I love to just share whatever I've learned. I'm still learning. I'm still evolving. Like, it's still day zero to me. You know, I've told this to other people who ask me like about, you know, success. I told them, like, I treat every day like I have nothing in the bank, like zero. So I need to keep that mentality, because the moment you get complacent, bro, is the moment that you just have so much opportunity cost. And I don't want to have opportunity cost. I want to know that I'm giving it my best chance, my terms now.
Yeah.
Back in those days, I was grinding 15, 16 hours a day. Yeah. Now I'm in a spot where I want to work hard from a certain time to a certain time, because the other time is designated for my family.
Yeah.
They're my why. I want to be there for my son. I'm about to coach his basketball team again.
That's so sick.
You know?
How many kids do you have?
I got 2 kids.
2 kids.
I want to be at my daughter's cheer competitions, and I want to support my wife, not her entrepreneurial journey, which she's starting as an esthetician and soap maker. So yeah, man, you know, like, I'm blessed to be here, and it's day zero, and love connecting people like you who are hungry, who are going after it, and sky's the limit, bro.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you for coming on. It sounds like you're a great dad, husband, father. You know, it's amazing, bro. I strive to be somebody like you when I'm older.
Appreciate it, man.
Not saying you're way older than me, you know.
Yeah,
but,
bro. Well,
but you know,
your life says otherwise, bro.
Yeah, when I have kids and stuff, so that's awesome, dude. Thank you for being on.
Hey, thanks for having me on, brother.
Yeah.
Watch it go vroom, vroom. I told her mom that I blow soon. Knew as a child back in the womb.